Welcome to Oof, My Wallet, a production of the TF Talk Network. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more. And follow us on Patreon and all other social channels at TFYLP. Enjoy the show. Hey, anyone out there? I doubt it, because we're already late. Sorry about that. This is an impromptu show tonight because we didn't do a Monday night show. Some of us have lives and families and jobs changing and vacations to go on, so things change. But we decided to have a show anyways this week because some of us had time. So a lot of us did not have time, but we did. Me and Mr. Phil.
And if any of the cast members decide tonight they do have time, just feel free to jump on.
Yeah, do it, because this is a wild and crazy night. This is the first ever TFYLP plus Oof. I guess you're the TFYLP. I'm the Oof tonight.
It's a Tuesday.
Tuve shows day.
Yeah.
What's usually on Tuesday?
I think that's when Lucas changes all the time. That's when we let Lucas sleep.
Oh yeah, well that's why we're doing this tonight.
Yeah.
It was a mystery show from an alternate dimension, but now as you can see it's actually Oof My Wallet and TFYLP together. So what does that mean? What exactly does that mean, Phil?
Whatever we want it to mean. Who's going to tell us it can't be what we want it to be right now?
Zaldron, probably. He's going to try.
Zaldron will probably go tell Lucas that we're misbehaving.
Well, Lucas is going to find out one way or the other. It doesn't really matter. He'll be on Space Mountain and be like, what new episode? Ah!
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
Well, there's some stuff that happened this past, few days or something. We'll get to that, but I think we should intersperse some oofs. What do you think?
I don't have a lot of oofs. Like the oofs I've gotten, I haven't. I've been trading some of those oofs for money. So I haven't been keeping some of my newest oofs.
Ooh, so sounds not very ooftastic.
Yeah, no, it's anti-oof.
I mean, I see plenty of oofs behind you.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's plenty of oofs there, but those don't pay for themselves.
If you do it right, they do.
Yeah, if you do.
Well,
specific ones don't. These specific ones are,
I'll start this off. Typically, when I'm ready to go into oof land, what instigates an oof for me, an oof show, or have you discovered the secret?
You usually get something cool when you want to do an oof episode.
That's true. I usually am able to make that work, but it's usually when I get a new Starscream. I tend to be like, hey, let's let everyone know about the sinister PF Starscream.
Oh,
from Japan. There it is. There's the logo. You can kind of see it.
See everything you hoped it would be?
Actually took it out of the box.
Oh, he's gray.
He's very
gray.
He is very gray.
That's almost like MP2 gray.
MP2?
What was the Masterpiece Starscream? The first Masterpiece Starscream.
Oh, that was 3. That was the green one. That's green screen.
Yeah.
This is actually like really very similar to MP52, the coloration of it currently. I think that's kind of what they were going for. I mean, or maybe he looks more like this in the show. It has all sorts of halftone screen, space mud tampos on it. So I'm sure Lucas would hate it, but I don't know, man. I think this is the superior Seeker mold in the War for Cybertron trilogy, or this era that we're in right now. I mean, just this is such a great action figure, and I've taken it apart many times because it's a really fun part swap with so many options out there. You can make some really cool stuff, and I just think this is far superior to the second one, the Earthrise, the Jet.
Well, the Earthrise one is just an update of a 15-year-old mold.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I feel like this is the main attraction, but it's the Tetra Jet, so some people don't like it as much. They want it to turn into the actual jet. Like if you could make this robot mode turn into the F-16 or whatever, F-15, that would be something phenomenal. Because this just has so many. It's a very good, very articulated toy. It has all the articulation you would want.
Has a waist swivel.
Certainly does, and it breaks a cockpit. But that's in general like the mold. This is hopefully the last version of this mold that the world has inflicted upon it, even though it's like one of the best.
Yeah.
So.
I was going to talk about the second to last version of that mold.
Oh!
Yeah. I'm a really, really big fan of Shattered Glass Starscream. I was like, all right, that looks kind of neat, but should we sword fight? Should we just like pew pew pew?
Shattered
pew,
glass,
pew.
glass again.
Yeah.
Shattered glass.
So yeah, this is he stands out. Like he stands out on that Seeker shelf, being this bright white. I mean, obviously it's Jetfire colors. It's an Autobot, not Autobot. It's a good guy Decepticon. So you got that whole color scheme going on here, and he's fun. The swords are really, really neat. My only complaint with him is I can't really get him to hold the swords together that well. Just the way they. I wish they've done this trick before, where they've given you like where the handles will combine, and with this two handles thing, as you saw, it literally just fell apart on camera there.
I did mine in such a way where it's like attached to his arms, so I have not even tried to do that to see the sadness there.
Yeah. It still looks cool with the sword in each hand. You get the asymmetrical thing with one hilt being longer than the other, one handle being longer than the other. But yeah, he's bright, he's fun. I'd say probably my favorite colorization of that mold, and probably my favorite of the Shattered Glass toys, which have all been pleasantly surprising. Not that I thought the Shattered Glass toys would be bad, but I'm just surprised at how much I've enjoyed what are relatively simple repaints.
Well, I always try to say, know thyself. Know what you're gonna want before you see it, and you'll never be snoozing.
And what's funny is, like, I didn't think I'd like this guy that much. Maybe I just like the red and white. Maybe it's just the color palette that tickles my fancy. For those that are listening,
Artfire
that was
tickles your fancy?
Artfire tickles my fancy far more than I thought he would.
My goodness. Me, oh my.
It's my first Artfire I've ever had. I've never had an Artfire, not that there's been that many to acquire.
Considering the original is like, a $2,000 toy, it's, not a...
Yeah.
Many people have made that statement. But I would say, well, there's also the Masterpiece one, which is quite good. I used to hate that deco. I was just like, what is this? Like, why isn't it all white? Why is it white, red, and black? It doesn't make sense. It's one of those weird Japanese things that really annoyed me. But it's like, after 20 years of seeing it, you're just like, oh, I guess that's Artfire. That's how he looks. I'm used to it now, and I do like that figure. I bought that, but I didn't open it. I think it's cool that it came with the
Target Master.
Yeah, the Target Master. I just really wish they would do Hauler at this point. I want another like Constructicon color scheme. So I've sort of collected those over the years. The weird, like I have the South American gears and Scoop, the Japanese Scoop that was supposed to be sort of like an IDW thing. So those are cool. Like I love the Constructicon colored weird bots. So keep that up.
Yeah, no, definitely was thinking about that with your guys' episode about animated the other day, and the Constructicons that we did not get.
Yeah, it's a shame that those never came to be, but it's just the way the animated went.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was gonna show off Shatterglass Starscream as well to keep the theme going, but thanks, you did that yourself. So I have one other thing I could show. I don't think I've shown this. I don't even know what to call this, but this is one of those third party doohickeys, and it's Michael Jackson Prime, as you can see. He's doing the hee hee or whatever, but just kidding. This is a New Age figure, I believe, and man, it's just so crazily articulated. I would, it's a little expensive, and it's like around $100, and it comes with a trailer, but it's very much like a very Legend scale MP44. It's a mini masterpiece, you could say, but don't really say that ever. It's got some weird tricks to it. Like there's a double. There's two window chests. Like I think this one actually like covers up another one. I don't know. I don't really know. These are so complicated. I don't really want to transform it, but this is one of those things I saw in like a preview photo, and I was like, wow, that's going to be a good toy, and it totally is. It'll do almost any pose you can think of. So, and it has a matrix in the chest. Yes, Ultron said this is a micro piece. I'm into that. I'll take a micro piece. That should be a phrase that lives on microcasters. But in my opinion, it's very reminiscent of MP44, but a lot smaller. This like, I think it would take 2 or 3 of these to be the actual height of MP44. So yeah, get it from your favorite overseas scumbucket retailer if you want, because that's pretty much how you get them.
Yeah, I've not done any Legends toys. There was a brief time where I liked some of the designs that were coming out, and thought about it, and it's too deep of a rabbit hole, and it's becoming a more and more expensive rabbit hole.
Yeah, like this kind of stuff. I have found myself really being impressed with some of the New Age toys. I have a few of the Starscreams, but they've actually made they started making like 5 too many for me, where I'm like, okay, you're reminding me why I don't like third party, because this is just ridiculous. Like I don't need a 5th slightly different toy color Starscream. So, but if I had to do just from a size perspective of like space this stuff takes up, like getting a really nice, you can make a really nice collection out of like New Age Transformers, and it would take up a fraction of like what most people have amassed over the years. So
I mean, just think of how many of those you could fit in one Delta case.
yeah,
versus like the maybe dozen MP size toys you could put in one.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think the goal is like quantity over quality, especially with like you wouldn't want to stuff a. We've all been there. We've all stuffed a Detolf to the brim, and you're like, "Look at my great collection," and then like you turn your head and look at it again in a different angle. You're like, "Gross! Like this is just a pile of crap in a Detolf," even though I know what the stuff is. You want to. Some of it has to breathe. Is all I'm saying. And with these small ones, you can have a lot more stuff and still have some breathing room. So, yeah, even if it's not packed to the brim, you can still fit a lot more of these than like, one masterpiece per square. I know I've gotten some other stuff, but
I got a guy that I'm enjoying a lot, and I know they've talked about him on microcasters. I think they did microcasters on him. Yeah, they did. But Kingdom Blaster.
Ooh.
Kingdom Blaster, getting easier and easier to find. Not the easiest toy in the world to find, but certainly not the hardest. And his little buddy ejects, who appropriately ejects from Blaster's chest. I enjoy the bright blue clear plastic. I know it's not accurate to what the G1 was, but he's certainly a better tape than what we were getting from the Kingdom and Siege Soundwave toys. And I would say this Blaster is superior to Soundwave. Soundwave is in this case inferior to the Blaster toy.
Holy shit, you said it.
Yeah, I did. I went there. Come at me, bros.
Beware the wrath.
So yeah, it's a fun toy. It's a fun blaster. It's if they're gonna do a Studio Series 86 blaster, I'm guessing it'll be some sort of slight update on this dude because he would fit in really really well with your 86 movie line. If you've got an 86 movie display, I don't think there's any other toy they've put out that would fit in better than this guy, at least from mass retail. Obviously there's some great third party blasters. But for a mass release, this is the most movie accurate blaster we've gotten.
Yeah, it certainly is. Like, hi Ron, what's up? It does slightly annoy me when they take some of these, like War for Cybertron toys and shove them into 86, which they've done. It's becoming more common as we go. It also doesn't make sense to make like a brand new Cyclonus, a brand new blaster that when they just came out in Generations. And you got to remember, Studio Series is Generations. They're both under the same banner. They're two like toy lines, so they do kind of intermix. But I still feel like that is that's Kingdom Blaster, although he was never on screen or anything. Like in my compartmentalized brain, that's where I put that. That's still not 86 Blaster because he wouldn't have those like nubs on his legs, and he wouldn't have the red on his thighs, and the back of him wouldn't be red. I don't know. I'm being very nitpicky, but the toy looks awesome.
Yeah. He's got a little jetpack on there. It looks like. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be, but it's like. Yeah, the Decepticons fly away, and he just goes, "No way, two can play." And he jets off with them.
I can fly.
Yeah,
I believe I can fly.
Exactly. Yeah, no. So this would be interesting because if they do a Studio Series 86 blaster, we know they're doing a Legacy blaster, so he would be coming out in 3 different lines.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, Legacy's a new toy line, but I mean, it's a spiritual if they're taking toys from War for Cybertron and throwing them into Legacy, like to me, it's like, oh, this is just the same toy line.
Yeah,
it's not. I know it's not. It's absolutely.
It's mainline Transformers, which has become more and more, just similar aesthetic, similar design, similar look. We're not veering too far off that path. I mean, when they showed some of the in-hand pictures of Laser Optimus, and that he shares some parts with the Earthrise Optimus, again, you can just see that this is a very direct continuation. Now, we saw that a little bit with Power Master Optimus from Titan's Return and Ultra Magnus from Combiner Wars. But even then, those were kind of the same line. So
yeah, it's a different. It's an era, for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same toy line, but it's an era. And you could say those Combiner Wars and Titan's Return and Prime Balls or whatever. Those were all Prime Wars trilogy, but they were an era, and we have shifted from that to where we are now. Ron is saying Kingdom Blaster's gun is not compatible with blast effects. Maybe it was supposed to be Studio Series 86.
That's a weird stretch. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I mean, but a gun, but yeah, it is a unique looking gun design. It looks like Blaster's gun with a big hole that the original G1 had, but the hole isn't all the way through. So yeah, I'm not sure if there was some play feature compatibility that they were thinking of with this. Have they shown, does the Legacy Blaster come with blue clear parts like Legacy Bulkhead does?
I don't believe so. I think it's
straight repack.
Straight repack, yeah.
And so the clear blue would be eject, I guess.
Yeah, and so maybe that's really where it's almost like Blaster was the Legacy toy that got shoehorned backwards to fit with Kingdom, which would make sense because the same thing happened with Hot Rod. So, I mean, these things are always in flux. They do change things. I'm not sure if they, we'd have to get word from the actual designers, like, were there Studio 686, were there Studio 6 Studio Series 86 toys that were supposed to be in, say, Kingdom and vice versa that got swapped around. Like, were they that interchangeable or not? You know, it's hard to... I don't believe they are, but, you know, then we see things like Cliff Jumper being thrown into the buzzworthy Studio Series 86 line. So it's like, what? So,
yeah.
Who knows? Big Daddy Review said, I wonder when Legacy Wave 2 will be revealed. Well, Big Daddy, stick around to the end of the show. Maybe I'll tell you what's in Wave 2 if you want. Because what they didn't do is tell us what's in Wave 2 on Transformers Fan Friday, which was last week, right, Phil?
I think that was more Fail Friday.
Oh!
Describe it.
Shoot.
Hot take.
Holy moly.
Take. Sizzling.
So rude.
Feel my feet.
Wow. Well, let's move into the TFYLP section of this episode. I think if there's more oofs that come up, you know, maybe we'll see the big oof.
I was hoping my Tesla 2.0 would be here by now, but I don't know where it is right now. I paid for it. It just is not in my hands.
Zaldron says it was no wallet ouch Friday. Ooh. Brutal.
No, that's pretty darn too, Zaldron. I was not ripping and roaring to go find some pre-orders. I got a couple things that they put up for pre-order Friday, but
well, there weren't many things to get.
No,
there was.
And one of the things I got was one of the things they didn't even show.
Which was what?
Ravage.
Oh,
the Studio Series Bumblebee Ravage that went up for sale on Pulse, the core class.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It just must be very hard to sync up production, marketing, and sales logistics to where you can, announce something the same day you have it for sale and no one's seen it before. Like, that is like that's the best thing Hasbro can do, and it's just very difficult. Clearly, the stuff gets leaked like crazy, but I always find it must be so frustrating. On, like, if you work for Hasbro, if you're on the Hasbro Pulse team and you're like, great, you're announcing stuff that we don't have pre-orders for or anything. Like, we just lost, like, the whole synergistic piece of this. We just lost, like, we could have made $1 million and we're gonna make, you know, 100,000 instead when the stuff's finally for sale because we missed the hype train.
And I think we as fans are fickle a-holes because they had been able to do this in the past. Sometimes. You know, I remember like the Toy Fair Pulse live stream that they did because they didn't do New York Toy Fair like in 2020 when COVID first hit.
That was a good one.
That was just like, you know, but of course that was set up prior to all of the I guess I should keep talking because Paul's not here. If I stop talking, then no one will be talking, and that'll be really weird. I guess that's the downside when there's only two people here.
Right.
What if there's only one person and then...
What, were you pissed that I left? I was, you know, other people are listening. I was.
I know, something. And I was just rambling about how if I stop talking, this show will just be dead air. So, yeah, no, but prior to all of the COVID, just snafu of the whole world shutting down and restarting in fits and spurts and inflation and shipping delays and what all that's done. Hasbro was able to do like big, massive reveals where it's like, here's all the toys that you could want. Oh, and by the way, here you can now go and get them. And even back in October, they were able to do that pretty well with the Hasbro Pulse Fan Fest or whatever they call it, the Fanimally event. PulseCon 2021. I'm
gonna try to not let my potty mouth spit something out over top of me there. Yeah. Well, those are, you know, like Toy Fair is a big production. The PulseCon has become a big production. I mean, I think, you know, the company has realized, hey, this works. I don't know I think I saw today that Hasbro Pulse's revenue doubled this year from the, you know, previous years. So like,
I didn't look at it. I know Hasbro had a good earnings report and their stock jumped a bit today. So,
woo!
Yeah.
Fuck the collection. I'm collecting Stizox.
Yeah. It's like I was discussing with someone on the interwebs today who was saying like, oh, with all these toy prices going up, maybe instead of buying toys, I should buy, shares of Hasbro stock.
Like,
And
bro,
it's like, yeah, if we were all that sensible, we're toy collectors. We are not that smart.
yeah, we are the reason the stock's going up.
We
Okay,
have base impulses that we can't control.
100%. Some people might call it mental illness.
Yeah.
So something Ron is saying is that they did announce red figures that you can't buy unless you already got them. Oh, Shazam!
What?
A Magnus, a Magnus, a Magnus. I did not just take a red Optimus and paint him white. This is the real thing. So oof that. Actually, I think that gets a big oof. We haven't had one tonight. Boom.
No.
Boom. Boom. Look, it's sideways on the camera, just like all the product photos on Hasbro Pulse now. Check it out. That's a big slam to Hasbro Pulse. I don't know if anyone noticed. That's what I did on Fan Friday, is all the product photos, thumbnails, are sideways now. They show up right side, but the little thumbnail on the side are sideways. You guys got to fix that. Bad UX. But yeah, they did announce it seemed like they spent a exorbitant amount of time announcing Knockout and Ultra Magnus. And I have to say, Knockout is a knockout. It's awesome. It looks so good. It's like the best red figure yet.
I still don't order it. I'll see it when it comes out. I want to see it in hand. Some of the last wave, but not the last. Some of the wave 2 of the red toys looked decent, and then when I saw them in hand on a shelf, was like, meh, not doing it for me. The Prime RC, the Beast Wars Cheetor, just I don't know. I didn't really feel it. Now Knockout is a character that the only toy they did, well, they did 2 toys of him. They did the Beast Hunters version, which made him like an alligator kind of combiner thing. Not combiner, but alligator mutant transformer. That Knockout Prime toy was pretty weak. That's probably, I don't know if I'd say is the weakest of the Prime toys that they did. I'm trying to think if there was a worse one that they did at that scale.
Arachnid was quite bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I think I even like Arachnid a bit better. It's close. It's close. I think she looked more on model than
maybe
Impactor than Impactor did. But
Knockout.
What am I saying? Impactor. Then Knockout did. Yeah, Knockout. You could feel from those pictures the character, the smarminess sort of oozing out of it. But again, I don't have any other red toys, so it's like, will it scale well with my shelf? Do I want to start going down that path? I don't know. Transformers is weird. Transformers, most stuff doesn't scale well with each other, but I'm going to be weird about it.
I mean, even the red stuff is kind of a mess. Like,
yeah.
Bumblebee is huge.
Yeah. Bumblebee.
Yeah. I really like the Knockout toy. I think the amount of accessories it comes with are crazy.
Yeah.
It just looks... Who would have thought that the Prime toys would actually, sing really good as a non-transforming, design? I mean, I guess it does make sense because those character models are kind of designed completely separate from the vehicle models. And I think another reason, when they made the Prime... This would be a great question for Rick, but, when they made the Prime toys, all they had were the character models. They didn't know, what Knockout was going to be like. They didn't know his characterization. All they had is, key art, right? That's how they have to work with. They didn't know what his voice was going to sound like, what his lines were going to... his whole shtick. So, if they had known... You can't really... You assume Optimus Prime and, Bumblebee and, the Megatrons of the toy line need to have a lot of TLC, and maybe Knockout was we don't know if this is a big character or not. So he kind of gets when half the time to develop the line has already been used, so they when you're closer to the end, you get less time to make it awesome.
Yeah, because I think the a lot of those characters really, a lot of those toys really did sort of ooze their character. Bulkhead just felt, especially that first edition, Bulkhead just felt like the character. He had that big beefiness, linebacker, but granted, the character model itself, very much, shown that.
Well, and we had history with that character at that point. You know what I
We
mean? Like we
did,
had
but they turned
animated
him
already.
from being like a fat sort of, Fred Flintstone as a transformer to being a linebacker transformer kind of guy. The voice actor was very different in terms of that. He wasn't a kind of intelligent klutz as he was in animated. He was the
Well, he
he
was a
was the
wrecker.
muscle.
He was a wrecker now,
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. No, he was a badass. He was the nice guy badass of the Transformers Prime team, versus Ratchet, who was the nice guy hard ass, I guess you could say. Um, but I don't know. I mean, some of the toys for animated, they really nailed the character look. Like that Soundwave in robot mode, not animated Prime. Some of the toys in Prime, they really nailed the character sort of just vibe, and especially that Soundwave with that sort of hunched over, that just, he's a creepy toy. He's a creepy toy. It was a creepy character. It was a whole new take on Soundwave, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, Arachnid wasn't great, but even she had like a sense of the character to her. In the robot mode, she carried that sort of presence with the thin legs, like the kind of high heeled shoes, type of feet that she had. She had that sort of regal, stab you in the back kind of sentiment to the toy that the character had. And Knockout, just meh. Knockout was a whole lot of meh.
Well, we finally got a good one. Is all I'm
Yeah.
saying. And does it transform into a car? No. Tough shit, everybody. Like, welcome to 2022. But
Yeah.
that toy is clearly the best looking red toy so far. So I would say check it out. I would get it off Pulse if you can, because it's a Walmart thing. And that was the big shock to me, is there were so many Walmart things that didn't really fit. Like, I don't know. It's like there's 3 new Legacy toys that are just like, hey, here's mainline Legacy toys that we're only selling at Walmart. The last time I can think of something like that's not like co-branded in a weird way like it's been the last few years is back during like the first movie, where Walmart had like 4 exclusive deluxes that were just like redecos. It was like, I think it was like I can't even tell you what they were. One of them was a breakdown or breakaway or getaway figure, but they were just like deluxes that you can only find at Walmart.
That's stretching my memory, because I don't remember a lot of those movie toys. I'm not a big movie toy guy. But what was interesting to me is how many times we've talked about on the show that Pulse doesn't seem to announce the store exclusive stuff, like
Right.
the Bumblebee, the buzzworthy. How much of the buzzworthy line, the first wave or two of buzzworthy line, just like showed up in stores, and like that was like a crazy phenomenon. Of all of a sudden, people are just like, here's a 4-pack with Fangry. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Nemesis Primal? What are you talking about?
I think it has something to do with the contracts, really. It's like, I'm sure Hasbro doesn't mind promoting their retailer exclusives, but like, if they have other stuff to do, like, they're going to use their own stuff. They're going to promote their own. If you have a certain allotment of time and marketing dollars to put towards promoting stuff, you're going to promote the stuff that's going to get you the biggest bang for the buck. Unless you have like some sort of, if you have a contractual agreement, like one of your announcements per year has to be our exclusives. And this was like Walmart's chance to do it. And going back, Big Daddy mentioned, or Zaldron actually mentioned, that Big Daddy was one of those exclusives, and these were part of the Allspark Power. So these were like, the movie had already come out, and they're like, let's make a bunch more toys. Holy shit, we're making billions of dollars, and all the retailers are like, give me some. Like, Target was the only one that really jumped in with the Transformers movie before it came out. So Walmart got Big Daddy, and it was the Downshift redeco. It got Jolt in movie 1. They got a purple car that was Jolt. And that was like that Audi, that weird Audi car. It's an awful mold. Don't get it. Then there was like, what's this one? Kilgore? Grindcore, who looked like a Constructicon, but that was another like Cybertron toy redeco. And then the last one was a getaway figure from Hot Shot, in, I believe, it was this. Must have been Cybertron, right?
Yeah,
it was Cybertron Hotshot, but it was painted like Getaway. But it was,
okay,
it was
I kind of
called
remember
Breakaway.
that one.
So there were those four like regular toy exclusives that had they had a little sticker on them that said only at Walmart. And that's the closest thing I can remember in recent memory that feels the same as these three exclusives coming to Walmart, which we should probably mention what they are. It's weird beast redecos.
Yeah.
It's Sandstorm, another Sandstorm, but it's the Scorponok like BotCon figure, so like that's a deluxe Sandstorm.
It's Scorponok with a yellow paint job and his mutant head. He has a new head, a resculpt there.
He has the mutant head. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Same thing with Buzzsaw, which we didn't know where that... Like, a lot of these leaked recently, but we're like, where is this coming from? Probably a retailer exclusive of some sort, but I never would have guessed, like, the way it's actually being released. So Buzzsaw is a Waspinator redeco, yellow, obviously, with the new head sculpt.
Robot head.
The robot head?
Oh. Waspinator was one of the few guys that they did the mutant head in the cartoon versus the robot head.
Yeah, that's correct. And then the last one is Cheetor, but it's Night Prowler, right?
Yeah.
And he's an Autobot, and he is a unreleased prototype deco that kind of never came out. And I think that's kind of cool. Like, I love when the prototype stuff sneaks in. So each of those has a really interesting background, and they're pretty niche. These are the kind of figures that I think people are like happy, like not angry for them to be exclusives, retailer exclusives. I mean, talk amongst yourself or talk to me. Do you agree?
It's much better than when the Netflix wave hit Walmart, and that was the only way you could get a Volkswagen Beetle Bumblebee, was finding that dude at Walmart, which was not easy to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it is, I think, from what we've talked about on the show, what makes a good retail exclusive. I think it is the paint job or the character that's a third or fourth tier character with kind of a neat, cool paint job. All those toys look cool. Like, for a kid walking down the aisle would see that and be like, "Oh, cool! What is this? Yellow scorpion with a cool head and shoots a fly out of his hand." So they'll look cool for kids. For those who are really in the know, they'll get it. For those, I think it's like the ancillary fans that are like, "Wait, I remember the cheetah guy, but I thought he was blue and yellow, and his name was Cheetor, not Nightcrawler. What am I looking at here?" Like, I can see a lot of those people who haven't paid much attention to Transformers walking down the aisle and just being like, "This is close to what I remember, but not really. And did I just have a stroke?" Because all those colors are like really throwing me off.
Yeah. Zaldron just said, if I see them, I'll get them, but they aren't figures I go out of my way for, like NetB and NetWave. And I think it's just kind of this funny thing where fans are like, "Oh, good, it's an exclusive I don't want. I don't have to deal with it." And they get angry when it's an exclusive they have to have, like they're being forced to get it. And I'm like, if I was forking over, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get this product, and I was a retailer, I would want it to be something people want to buy. So, and I think Walmart is just kind of upping their game with their exclusive level with Transformers, because we already know there's this whole other line coming that has some pretty awesome figures in it, like Black Convoy and I think is Minerva. No, Minerva is a Walgreens thing. But I mean, these are a little more obscure than some of the other exclusives they've been getting, and I think it's cool that they're mixing it up. That they're not all, it's not all one way or the other. So,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm definitely going to be one of these guys who'll pass on them. If I find them for like clearance, honestly, I don't even think I'd pick them up then because I don't have the shelf space for them. They're not bad toys. I just have personally no attachment to these characters, no attachment to these paint jobs. I'm more of a G1 dude. I know Christian very, very much wants these three toys, especially Buzzsaw. So, I'm just, it's one of those things where I am in that Venn diagram of desired market, but not quite desired market, and I'm standing outside that. I'm sure, not the response Walmart was sort of looking for, of like, oh, those are cool, I'll pass.
Right. They don't care if it's obscure or they just want it to sell. Like that's all they
Right.
give a shit about. But also they are continuing the red line. So do they really care if things sell? I don't know. It's always back and forth.
So why don't we jump over to the other exclusives that were talked about, the Target buzzworthy exclusives,
Well,
which
there was one. Man, you killed my
oh,
train
I'm
of thought.
sorry.
There was one last thing I wanted to say about those, but I guess I don't think they're going to be super hard to get. They might be on Pulse, but it really depends on how heavy they laid into it. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I'm surprised those were not generation selects. Those three, and it makes me wonder if maybe originally they were going to be, but then Walmart sort of propositioned like, we want more stuff, and they're like, whoa, okay, well, how about this weird shit? And they're like, yes, thanks, take it.
Well, I think that goes back to all the theories we've been having of, are Rise of the Beast toys coming out in 2022 or not? And there's been a lot of leaked lists that indicate that they will.
Yep.
But that's not done until people start seeing them on the shelves. Things can get pushed back. So
kind of surprised they haven't leaked yet.
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of lists that are floating around out there, and again, most of those lists are not of toys that I think we in the collector market are that interested in. More of the kid friendly, one step changers and all that. But yeah, I think most of the fandom assume that these three toys would be generation selects. I mean, the black and red Ironhide was leaked at the same time as those. Mm-hmm. And that was a selects toy. So I think we were all just under the assumption that, yeah, they'll, Transformers Tuesdays will get, one of those a month or some deal. And then, nope, they're Walmart.
Well, I was pretty sure it had to be some sort of retailer exclusive. But again, like I said, I never would have predicted, like, Walmart's going to release there's going to have regular Legacy toys. Same box, same branding. Looks like it's part of the thing. Only it's their own. I never would have guessed that in a million years.
I've seen that though with a lot of the Marvel Legends. Target's gotten a lot of exclusive Marvel Legends, and the packaging doesn't really indicate that it's an exclusive to Target that much. It looks like the other line of Marvel Legends, like they had a exclusive Eternal Marvel Legend toy, and it was packaging just like the other Eternals toys.
Yeah, I mean, it's all under Hasbro, but there's different teams, and each one treats this stuff a little differently. And I usually go off of patterns with Transformers themselves, like contained within that world. But
yeah,
you're right. There's plenty of examples of this kind of thing with the other brands.
Yeah, and the Black Series line is definitely continuity among the packaging. It doesn't matter what store these are exclusive from. That packaging has a high level of continuity.
Yeah. Well, things don't always stay the same. They change. They run around. So is that the end of the Walmart? So there's the reissues. I just want to compartmentalize.
That's right.
I don't care about these at all. Like the fact that all the other Beast Wars reissues clearanced out hardcore in the past few months, I'm just like, bad move. Like everyone thinks Beast Wars is big, but like, only it's a small sect. It's not as big as the G1. The G1 reissues did a lot better than these, even though a lot of those got clearance too, but like not like the whole line en masse like this.
And not online. When you see toys go clearance online, that's like it's not just, this store's got a bunch of them and maybe you can find them and for a cheap price. This was across the board. They did not sell well. At least that's my take. I'm hypothesizing there. If I'm wrong, whatever.
Be right. Always be right.
But I think, it's kind of funny because these are two that I would be tempted to pick up. I do like Scorponok. I do like the coloring of Tigatron more than Cheetor. But again, I just don't have the shelf space for, vintage Beast Wars toys.
I do like that the Scorponok appears to be like very different than the original. Colors are different in a way. Like that's how I like reissues to go, where it's like has a very obvious like, this is a reissue, and because this piece is brown or something.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to be like hemming and hawing over what is a reissue versus original when someone's trying to sell something to you.
One thing Ron just said was it's kind of funny. All the reviewed toys from this Fan Friday, but there was no announcement of Blue Silver Streak. Well, the reason is because they were talking about Walmart exclusives and they weren't talking much about Target exclusives. Although they did mention a few, didn't they, Phil?
They talked about the new Buzzworthy toys,
Buzz,
which, if you dig around on Target's app, I don't know about the website, but at least on the app, you can find the listings for these toys. Cup has been on Target's app for
they've all been there
a month. Yeah, Cliff Jumper was on there first. At first, it was just Bumblebee and Cup, and then recently Cliff Jumper showed up too. But you can't order them, but you can set an alert to get an update when it becomes available to buy. So who knows when that'll get here? But I mean, I don't know. It was interesting hearing them talk about the clear plastic versus the painted plastic and what they wanted for the windows and what people wanted. I'm in the camp that I want it to look as much like the cartoon as possible. So if that means I'm getting painted plastic windows, I kind of prefer that. So it's I'm excited for this cup. I'm disappointed I've got to buy another cup that's nearly identical with some slight alterations.
I mean, this one looks so much better.
It does.
It's like
I think Cliff Jumper looks better too.
I agree.
So, I don't know if they pulled that excuse out of their ass after the fact of why they did this differently, other than, what Peter always says, which is slightly incremental improvements to try and sap more money out of our wallets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like that specific and sinister, but like they're all just trying to get a job done, and then it's like, hey, we can do this better. Okay. It wasn't like, oh, let's do it this way just so we can do it better later. Like that requires like some forethought, which I just don't believe anyone at Hasbro has to that extent. To the extent the fans think,
it's funny that we both have a cynical outlook on Hasbro, and one is intentionally cynical and one is ignorantly cynical.
I don't know.
Or incompetent, not ignorant.
I work for the first time in my life, I've been working for a large corporation, and all my fears have come true. No one knows what they're doing, and it's every man for themselves, and the deadlines matter more than anything. That's what it's like. So I don't think Hasbro would be very different.
So I'm excited about the Buzzworthy toys. I'll pick up Cup. I'll pick up Cliff Jumper. I
think the B127 is good too because it has a new head and it's a completely different deco. It's a different story than some of the other Buzzworthy toys where it was like straight up, here's the same toy.
Yeah.
Or there may be differences that just no one gave a shit enough to like point out.
Yeah, because the Buzzworthy we didn't have all the leaks. Again, Buzzworthy has just been these toys that have just shown up on shelves, and people have just been like, "Wait, what?" I mean, the first Buzzworthy wave, we had that Bumblebee and Spike 2-pack that didn't seem to fit in or scale with anything. Not a terrible toy, but for the price was not so great when it first came out. You got it for cheap.
It's worth a lot more now.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the Buzzworthy, the Origin B really made people go like, "Oh crap, I have to care about this." Yeah. Damn it, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Life finds a way.
And he's easy to find if you do want him. He's easy to find. The 4-pack, not so much, but Origins B is a plenty.
Yeah, they've clearly it's one of those exclusives that Target re-upped on.
Yeah,
that is will be around for a little bit. So if you're still looking for that, go for it. I mean, once it clearances though, then it's not coming back. That's kind of the rule of thumb there. That's when they're like, go away. We don't want this anymore in our stores.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have Gujitsu toys we need to put up in that shelf space.
I don't know what that is. But going back to, I think what Ron said is, the Silver Streak has kind of like not materialized yet. It's expected to be a Target exclusive. and I think it's on the same boat as the Buzzworthy, the next wave of Buzzworthy toys.
Can we pause on that note in terms of things on the boat and when things will get here?
Sure.
So I collect Star Wars
We
Black
don't, we
Series.
don't know anything. Let's make shit up.
Walmart put out a new Star Wars Black Series Boba Fett release today, and yeah, pretty much the same look as before, but it's a slightly different deco and whatever. So a bunch of people in the Star Wars fandom were like, "Oh, February 3rd release, you know, it was already going to be out. This is great," or like, "Oh, it's they put the wrong date. They probably meant March 3rd release," and it's like, no. That toy is coming out in 360 days. That's a February 3rd, 2023 release date.
It even says so?
It says so on the Walmart website.
I gave the big oof because you were talking about Star Wars, and then but that fits. That's great.
Yeah. And so we may be in for some really long waits for some of these toys. And maybe that's why we're seeing stuff that's already been leaked, because who knows when the hell these things will get here.
Yeah, I mean, everything's a mess still. Nothing's normal. And will it ever be normal again as far as this stuff goes? Hard to say.
I don't know. It'll get there. It'll find some new normal status quo, and I don't know. Prices keep going up.
Prices keep going up. Dollar value keeps going down. It's a match made in heaven.
Yep.
Invest in yen.
Yeah, all right. We had the Buzzworthy toys. We had the Walmart exclusives of the Legacy toys. We had the Walmart exclusive Reds. We had the Walmart exclusive Beast Wars Vintage. Is Studio Series the only ones we got left?
Yes. And then I promised someone I would leak the Wave 2.
Yeah.
Whatever the F.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, what have we got left that they announced on Friday, which was the next wave of Studio Series, which again had either already been leaked in pictures or been leaked in terms of we were expecting it. And so not horrible takes. I mean, these are all great looking toys, but
nothing too surprising. I mean, the RC looked good it's when you see everyone knew this stuff was coming. All right, anyone that was paying attention knew it was coming, but it's like they don't believe it for real until they see the image.
Yeah.
You know? And like it's so funny when I see everyone's like, "Oh, Sludge!" And I'm like, we have talked about Sludge for 6 months. Like, like, why is it now? I guess it's human nature. What are you gonna do? What
it's one thing to like say, "Hey, a Sludge toy is coming," but then to finally see it and finally see how good those 3 Dinobots look together.
Yeah.
That was probably my that and the Red Knockout were my 2 oh crap moments when they showed the 3 original Dinobots in Dino mode on his little tray. That was like, oh, damn, those look good. You know, it's one thing to have Slag and Grimlock, like, yeah, they look cool, they're fun, but like Slag, Grimlock, and Sludge together is just that's a freaking great looking trio, and I don't know why they wouldn't do the other 2, but
I also like how they're 86 toys, so they need to do the other 2. But he mentioned, and this is something that I didn't really pick up until the designer dude mentioned it. I should probably know who he is, but I don't. That it's the original 3, from the first episode. It's like, oh yeah, those are the 3 that blew up Teletran 1 and everything. That makes perfect sense. Those are the first Dinobots, but they really need to do the other 2.
They really do too for the fandom to be satisfied, but like they did reach this sort of like end chapter 1 status with the Dinobots, where if they didn't do the other 2, they could always just say, we just want to do these originals.
Yeah, they could. I guess I'm just saying, like, they are in the film.
Yeah.
Like, Swoop is just as important as Slag or Sludge.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're calling those 86 toys. Snarl is probably like, he's the cherry on top. You can pretend he wasn't in the movie. He was definitely in it in both modes. So
you blink and you miss it, though.
Certainly. But, I mean, how can you blink watching the Transformers the movie? Like, your eyes are bleeding by the end of it because you can't stop watch
You need
it.
to Clockwork Orange your eyes and
Yes.
hold them open.
I mean, that's how it, every time I watch it, that's what happens. My wife doesn't understand it, but it happens.
No.
So other than Sludge looked great. I would say that I don't love the neck design of the Brontosaurus, but I mean, whatever. It's fine. I like the more like serpentine like animation model where he has a little more flexibility in his neck, but I mean it's a
this
robot
is kind of
dinosaur.
going with the G1 toy look as well, where it's that sort of arch. I don't know. It's a great looking toy. Can I nitpick it? Probably. I don't love the Studio Series 86 Dinobots as much as other people do. I think they're nice. I think they're good. For the price point, you're getting a big honking toy, but I've got repro labels for them that I need to slap on. I think that'll help out a lot for making those toys just look more detailed, which is what I kind of crave from them. But that they do look really, really nice, all three together. And I think if you're one of these collectors that's like, people have been made fun of in the pod for this.
The pod.
The podcast for this. I've been made fun of by the team here. I'm being made fun of now again.
Yes.
I'm being made fun of for talking about how I've been made fun of. In the cast, I've been teased about, well, I'm not gonna get the fans toy Menosaur because I'm gonna get the mainline Hasbro Menosaur. And they're like, what? You're talking about like eating at McDonald's versus getting a steak. It's beef, but they're two very different things.
Sometimes you just want McDonald's, man.
But what I would say is like what you're getting for the price point of these three mainline Dinobots is not fans toy quality, but I would say like price to satisfaction ratio, you're getting better value, I would say, from the mainline Hasbro Dinobots than you are from the fans toys. Don't get me wrong, the fans toys, Dinobots, and all that stuff, they're great, they're awesome, but for what you have to pay, and you're paying 20% of that to get these Hasbro ones, I'd say is more worth it.
I think you might be right.
Yeah. Again, not disparaging people that buy fan toys. Like I said, I've got Tesla 2.0 on its way. But there's just times where I don't think there is enough of a step up in value to warrant it when they come out with toys like this.
Well, I'm not going to comment on that discussion at all. Instead, I'm going to talk about the fact that they showed us Studio Series 86 Spike, Exosuit Spike.
Yeah.
Yippee. It looks better than the one that came with Slag. I mean, it looks pretty good. It looks great.
I have a nickname that I don't know if I've really discussed with people.
For what?
Spike and Daniel, the Exosuit guys. The father-son Exosuit duo.
What do you call them?
Spaniel.
Spaniel. Very nice.
Because think about it with the buzzworthy Bumblebee we talked about that came with the Exosuit, dude. You're like, you couldn't see a head in there.
Who is that? It's Spaniel.
It's Spaniel. Is it Spike? Is it Daniel? It's Spaniel. It doesn't matter. It's Spaniel.
I'm tagging the episode with that.
Yeah. Hashtag Spaniel.
Spaniel.
Maybe I'll catch on as much as Chugsterpiece.
Well, Micropiece is the new
Micropiece.
Yes. That one was good. I like it. I like it a lot. So we also saw... I kind of like my brain fried. I did not actually watch the whole thing like I usually do because I have a job now, so I can't just like be like, hey, toy reveals, let's just drop everything and watch this. So I was like speeding through the thing and I saw Ironhide and I was like, oh my god, the Studio Series 86 Ironhide, they showed it? No, they didn't. They showed the Bumblebee movie Ironhide, which is just the redeco of Ratchet, which... I mean, I'll tell you, it looks awesome. So does both those toys look awesome. So does the RC. Yeah. The deluxes coming out look great. Like this is some really good Studio Series stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Are there any duds? Honestly, like they all look good.
I mean, to me, the Ironhide and Ratchet alt mode is a bit of a dud. Not that I would keep it in that mode, but
it's a little squat, right? It's like
yeah,
it kind of looks like a potato, like
weird looking,
a tomato and an onion with wheels or something.
Yeah, it's it leaves
But the robot.
something to be desired.
Robot looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And the mode that most people are going to have it in looks really good. The RC alt mode looks fantastic. Part of me wants to see that redecoed as an afterburner, or remolded as an afterburner. G1 Afterburner is one of my all-time favorite Transformers. That futuristic motorcycle thing is just like right up my alley. Don't tell me it's the Tron bike. It's different than the Tron bike. It's significantly different than the Tron bike. It's similar, but it's significantly different.
It's honestly closer to the Akira bike.
Yeah.
Not that I think they meant that, like they were trying to do that at all, but
no, you're absolutely right.
It feels more like that to me.
Yeah.
It's just not red.
So I wouldn't mind seeing RC Studio 6 RC remolded some way as an afterburner. That would have been something like back during the club days that we probably would have seen. Yeah, and then Junk Heap, man. Junk Heap I'm excited for Junk Heap. I'm excited. Bring on more Junkions in this Studio Series 86 line, because Wreck-Gar, one of my favorite toys of last year. I like the changes they made with Junk Heap. That's a great looking toy. Those two are going to look great together. I think the scaling doesn't quite work as well as I'd like to in terms of one riding on the other. The robot looks a little too big on the motorcycle, but it's just a hair off. But yeah, they look really, really good, these Junkions. I would say
the thing that excites me is it kind of shows like no character from the film is off the table. You know, The Alicon has been created. The Bailiff has been created. Those are not Studio Series 86 toys. And, like not like Gnaw, but it's close. It just shows it just shows like, yeah, Wreck-Gar is the only Junkion that's really ever been a Transformer, other than a few like club exclusives and stuff. But like, it's pretty cool to see them go all the way with Junk Heap. And I'm not I wouldn't expect them to do more of those, but you never know. There could be, because there's like 5 or 6 unique character models for the Junkions, and they it was a love letter to crazy fans of the film to be like, here's this other guy and his name's Junk Heap, here you go. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm into it.
I thought about getting the third parties. I actually do have the third party Junk Heap, and I don't remember what his name is, but I'm gonna sell it. I just don't. The plastic doesn't feel the way I want it to feel.
Get rid of it.
I've got it on my pile of stuff to sell. So, I was really excited with how great Wreck-Gar turned out, and when I found out they were doing more Junkions, that was a nail in the coffin for me. Of like, do I want masterpiece scale third party Junkions, or will I be happy with the mainline Junkions? And so far, really, really happy with what I have in Wreck-Gar and what I've seen of Junk Heap.
Yeah, I feel like the Wreck-Gar mold is kind of one of the. I mean, I haven't seen a bad 86 mold, but like the Junkion mold really blows me away. With like how well it can actually pull off both modes.
Yeah.
Damn.
There's a few things. I mean, Sharkticon I really love. Gnaw I really love, but there's just a few minor gripes I have with that one.
Well, I don't want to hear them because they weren't revealed at Fan Friday, so
no,
I'm going to spare the
but
listeners.
I would say if there's a mold that's
this mockery of justice.
The chins on some of them too have been, I would have liked a new head on Buzzworthy Cup, and I could see them doing that. I could see them doing like a box set of a bunch of these dudes, and suddenly Blur and Cup are going to get new heads with their chins not being so Jay Leno-ish.
And if they do, they do. Great.
Yeah.
Everyone wins.
Yeah.
Everyone wins.
So yes, Ron, we've got a toilet mode for Braun, and maybe they repaint him and call him Brawny.
Oh.
Yeah. That would be a nice little. Would that be the next crossover? We haven't had many crossover leaks or reveals. Maybe that's the next crossover is Brawny.
I highly doubt it, and I hope not.
Yeah.
But
we can all dream.
It's an interesting idea. So that was.
Although isn't Brawny paper towel and not toilet paper?
It is.
No, you know what we didn't talk about?
No.
We didn't talk about the call map featuring Peter Cullen.
Because I don't care. Like, I love Peter Cullen, but I don't want to talk about that.
You know what? We use a little machine like that for my son to help him fall asleep. And when I started hearing the Peter Cullen talking like that, I also was at work. I'm like, this is really relaxing. This is really just like chilling me out right now.
Okay, fine. What is it? Is it an app or is it a device?
In this case, it's an app. There's different ways you can get these things that will talk to you. In this case, it's the Calm app, which I assume has different meditation things.
Yeah, it's that ADSM or whatever, that like people putting you to sleep.
Yeah, like ASMR.
ASMR. That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. I have
listen,
no idea what that stands for.
I'm very familiar with that. Then yeah, that's pretty cool that they got him to do it because his voice would lend itself well to that.
And if you haven't listened to it, it just is like, it's just really chill. And for like someone like my son who's 7 and you know, there's days where he's got some like, you know, being a little bit negative with himself more than we'd like a lot of these kid focused ASMRs are just like, you're a good kid. And it's just, there's something about just hearing that and then hearing that from Optimus Prime. Like, I get it. It's cheesy. And I get it, like, I'm, you know, not the main audience for it, but it's like...
You were productive at work today.
Yeah.
Your boss sees the effort you put into your endeavors.
You turned in your TPS reports on time. So, yeah, it's...
You filled out your timesheet adequately.
But, yeah, then we had the...
Find another job.
we had the other games that were released. So it's sort of funny that they have the one gal that works on the marketing side that's all about the games and other media, and then like she doesn't even stick around for the end. They make the rest of the team sit through her spiel, but then once her spiel is done, she's gone. You know, she's not going to sit around and listen to the toy guys discuss molds and inspirations. It's just like, nope, she out of there. She's got other projects.
If you threaten to find another job, we will give you a 30% raise. Go for it. Don't join the Great Resignation, please.
Fringe benefits.
There's a secret bonus if you pretend you have another job, so please tell your superior that you got a... Never mind.
Profit sharing.
It's only funny to me. Why is that? How is that?
Your options are fully vested.
In 3 more years, you can consider leaving because then all of your stock options are available for you. The carrot is no longer dangling in front of you.
I feel like I'm morphing into a George Takei voice.
You're actually better. You're doing really good as Peter Cullen's. Way better than my joke voice.
So, no, you're not bad.
I'm pretty bad.
But yeah, other video games, which I don't know, I don't care about. But yeah, the toy reveals were.
Yeah,
whatever.
We don't want to talk about that stuff. This is TFYLP. Yeah. Totally your longitude for toys, please. That's well, you know, I don't. So my question is, did this count as like our Toy Fair timeline reveal? Because Toy Fair is usually around Valentine's Day. Okay, it's always, and that's next weekend. That is 1 week. It's this Monday. 1 week from yesterday.
6 days.
A few days. Some days.
To prove to the person you care about that you love them by buying something.
Yes, you must buy.
Now, they don't have to do the same back to you. In fact, they probably won't. But if you don't do this, you're fucked.
You'll end up with Magnus.
That's it. She's going to kick you out. Just throw the Magnus at you when you're out on the curb in the cold and the rain.
Well, I remember Hasbro originally had big plans for Toy Fair. This year they're like, we're going to go to the Javits Center like we used to back in the day. And then they're like, wait a minute, COVID still exists. We're done. And then all of Toy Fair is like, we're out.
Yeah.
So did they give them did Hasbro give itself enough runway to do a reveal spiel like they have done the past few years? I mean, they've kind of honed this. I feel like they've got it down pretty well with PulseCon, but can they do like a purely product driven, like, here's our stuff that's coming out?
So it's been 6 months, 5 months since PulseCon when we got the Legacy reveals. We haven't gotten any of the Legacy Wave 2 stuff. If there is going to be any Rise of the Beast reveals, we haven't seen those. So I think, I think from what I understand, there's going to be something in March that's going to be more across the different brands. That's going to be a Toy Fair-esque kind of thing.
That gives them more time.
And I think that's where, because what we got this past Friday was just like all right, here's like, your, assortment basket of just whatever shit doesn't fit into the big reveal that we want to do. So, all the exclusive stuff, they don't want to not give it any time, but it's just like, I don't think any of these toys, aside from, maybe Studio Series Sludge, I don't think any of these toys were like marquee level, look at this big announcement. And because that's what we've gotten with some of these past reveals. With PulseCon.
I think the Sludge was the marquee reveal here.
But he's not a marquee character.
It's a brand new mold. It's a $50 toy. It was the most expensive toy they showed us, and it's all new. Like even King Starscream, was not all new. They had to really, put a lot of makeup on that pig to like make it seem like it was a big deal. I mean, it's cool. I'm not saying it's awful, but it's like it's just a Voyager toy with a throne.
Yeah, and an extra like set of guns on his shoulder pads.
Right, for some reason. I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
I think Sludge was enough of a draw to do it. And those other toys, I mean, like, why isn't... Okay, they already showed us RC. Ironhide's a remold. Spike is little. Like, these are all still new things that came out. And all the Walmart reveals were, like, kind of shocking to me. Like, holy shit, I didn't know where these were coming from, but they're all redecos, so I guess... so Sludge is the only one that was really like all new.
Yeah, but I just think like for what the spectacle of what Toy Fair usually is and the announcements they usually do for that, that's where I think they're going to roll out a little more stuff of what we're going to see from what the new Legacy thing is going to be. Like, that's where we'll probably see if there's going to be a new Legacy cartoon or not but what the new Legacy cartoon. Maybe like a opening credits for that, or some character designs from that. Rise of the Beasts. Like, all right, here we go. Here is what Optimus Primal Rise of the Beast is gonna look like. Here you go. The movie got delayed, but you're gonna get to see this now. That's the kind of marquee stuff that I'm talking about. As much as fans like Sludge,
right?
Sludge is not enough to carry something like the Toy Fair level. That's where we'll probably see the next Titan, because usually they do the Titan reveals at Toy Fair, because it's like they usually have. You've been there.
Sometimes they do. I mean, a lot of times they do a teaser at New York. Where they like showed Trypticon's leg, or like Predaking's wings, or I think that's where they showed the Scorponok head. Whatever. Like there's no rhyme or reason. It's whatever they decide and what works with.
But the thing is, like Toy Fair, and you've been there. For those folks who don't know, Paul has been to Toy Fair. He's been one of those dudes that's gotten to see the big giant dioramas. That's where they'll have those big things to show like just the freaking scale and size of those things.
Well, the point of the Toy Fair is how Hasbro used to do it. Is that's where they would show their retailer partners their product for the whole next year, and they would make their multi-million-dollar orders that are going to spread across the whole next year for them. But then, since they had all this stuff set up, they built this like fan promotion day onto it the next day, which was a little more laid back. They're like, we already made the big orders yesterday. We made $120 million yesterday. We can just chill with the nerds now.
Yeah.
But they had all the stuff set up so we could look at it. Now they're changing. Because of COVID, they're changing this whole process. But yeah, they would like the last year I went, it was all of Earthrise. They had Scorponok, the whole Earthrise toy line was down there, and most of the Studio Series and the BotBots and Cyberverse and all that stuff. But it's different now. They don't have that the ability to do that. They have to, how are they going to adapt? Are they going to? They still have to have these things for the buyers at like Walmart and Target and Walgreens. Anyone that does an exclusive toy for Hasbro and then some are at these events because they're the ones that they're literally spending the year's worth of money in this one day. So they still have to do that for the buyers.
They come home and their wives are like, "You spent how much on Transformers today?"
Right. You spent how much of your
just $120 million? Come on,
just this, the stock. So I don't know. I think Hasbro is still trying to figure this out. Because they were gonna do Toy Fair again. They were gonna do it at the Javits Center, not at the Times Center, which is away from the main jam. And then they canceled it last minute. So I think they got to do something. Man, you mentioned something in March. That makes sense to me. That gives them an extra month to like figure it out, get their plan together. Because these things take time. They're not just like, oh, it's not like our podcast. It's not like, hey, let's go live tonight in 2 hours. They have visuals and they have like scripts and they have all these things, and legal has to check them. And
I'm not even wearing pants.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have legs, but I'm still here. So I guess they're getting better at it, and I think they're getting more nimble. They're still not like, hey, let's do this. They can't roll out of bed on Monday morning and be like, hey, on Friday, let's show some stuff. Because, like, I think it takes them longer than... There's too many people involved to get that done in a week.
I think is sort of funny is that because we now live in a world of Zoom calls, and I think probably just about all of us have been in a Zoom call for work where it's like, oh shit, that call's in 5 minutes. I haven't done anything. And you get yourself ready to go in 5 minutes. We all assume that the people at Hasbro can do the same thing. Like they can get all the visuals and just like a guy, holding up a toy in front of a camera, like, here's the new release coming out. And look at, he's got a gun. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you can do that, but I'm sure there's way more steps that they have to go through than that. But because we've all done the half-assed version, we assume that Hasbro can quickly throw together a half-assed version and that they will / want to. Well, I don't think that's the case.
Having a Zoom meeting with a few coworkers is a different thing than like 15,000 people watching it and the comment thread going with racist remarks, in real time. Like that's it's a different story, and it requires a little bit different commitment. And I think they're doing great. Like I do not want to like
pretty darn well too, but just from the viewer's perspective, the viewer perceives this as like, I could do that in 5 minutes.
Right.
Why do they?
You cannot do that.
Right.
You can't.
You think you can, but you're wrong.
Yeah. There's a lot more prep that goes into that, even though it may not appear so all the time than you might think. So like at those Toy Fair things, if you're interviewing, say, the design director, there is a Hasbro legal person there recording them, that you can put it on YouTube, just so like if someone says something wrong, they have proof that no, this is actually what was said.
Yeah. Or if you're interviewing a Mattel guy, they'll just shut down your whole YouTube channel.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, one of these Toy Fair things I was at, someone got in trouble. This was when the Bumblebee movie came out. It was misquoted on TFW, and TFW is the problem with it. Remember when they said like Bumblebee is a new storytelling universe, and everyone's like, oh, that means it's a reboot. Oh, it's a different story. Like that became a big fucking deal. That blew up, and it was just a quote in writing. He said exactly that, but he did not mean what everyone took it for.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things, like, that was a real tricky... People were in deep shit because of that. Because of the reaction and the misconstruing of what was said. So, it's serious. Toys are serious business. Jeez.
It's what's funny is this, it's not real serious business for us. It's fun for us, even though we take it seriously. But there are people for whom it is very serious business. It is their livelihood. It is what they work in. Yeah. If you're part of the Hasbro legal team, you went through a lot of years of college to be able to talk about the legalities of the copyright laws for Transformers and whatnot.
Yeah, and you know, when you like something as much as we do, that we're sitting here being stupid talking about it, like, you don't want that to be your job, because you can't treat it, you can't, doing something that you spend your free time doing and then making that be what you need to do to live, like, it causes a lot of weird dissonance that you're not prepared for until you've done it, and you're like, whoops. Maybe I shouldn't work for my favorite band ever. That's a mistake. Oops.
Are you saying Garth Brooks is not as nice to you as you thought when you were a kid?
Hey, Garth Brooks, you know, the thunder rolls.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think we've covered everything from the fan
What's coming in
Friday.
Legacy Wave 2, Paul?
Legacy Wave 2. I mean, this is not a shock, but this is what it is. Elita 1. Bam. Tarantulas, bam! Wild Rider, bam! And KO Prime, which is actually Knockout from Prime, which I could not figure out for the life of me for months until it was...
Well, that was like Studio Series RC, and we were all like, wait, what?
Right.
Studio, but didn't they just do it like, oh, the Bumblebee movie RC? Yeah. That toy got revealed, and everyone was just like, oh, she exists.
Well, but there's still a Studio Series 86 RC. So that's 3 RCs in 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my little tidbit. I think that was for Big Day reviews. Promised you I'd tell you that. I don't actually, you know, I'm supposed to find out what is in this new Bumblebee movie coming up here pretty soon. But then there was a list the other day that leaked that actually had not the code names, but the real names. I kind of ignored it, but, you know, that was proof to me. Well, not proof, but it was a good high indicator that, yeah, that's definitely coming this year. That stuff is on the way, and it's going to be a disaster because it's coming out before the movie actually does, so... Hold on to
I mean,
your
if
butts.
the toys are good, then the toys are good, and who cares what the media... Well, I shouldn't say who cares. There's a lot of people who care what the media is for it, but I think for the fandom, if the designs are cool and the toys are good, we'll gobble them up.
Gobble, gobble. All right, well, this was an interesting show from outer space. I think, Phil, thanks for joining me. You did a great job. Too bad none of the rest of the cast joined us. I mean, it's a lot better than the show I did by myself a few weeks ago. That was sad. So, but shout out to the dude that said I could listen to 2 hours of this. I was like, whoa, okay. I won't delete this video. I was going to, but you kept me in the game.
In Chicago here, about month back, on one of the sports radio stations, the guy who did overnights passed away. And he would do 5 hours from midnight to 5 a.m. talking to callers or talking by himself about Chicago sports for 5 freaking hours, 5 nights a week.
Wow.
5 nights a week, 25 hours a week. This man would talk about Chicago sports. His producers would chirp in here and there more than most producers would on a radio show, but yeah, that dude did what you did for 20 minutes, 5 hours a night, 5 nights a week.
Yeah,
probably some 45 weeks a year.
I mean, there is some real experience needed to do that. I would say it's like being a pilot. You need like a few thousand hours before you can even fly with people. You need to know you can talk and keep it going, because it definitely did not feel like 15 minutes or 12 minutes, whatever that episode was. It felt like it was an hour, and then I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will not be doing 5 hours of overnights on Transformers for many, many moons. But what was the guy's name? Do you know?
Les Grobstein.
Les Grobstein. So is some other like long talker just been waiting in the wings for him to go, and he's going to take over? Or are they changing the format?
No, they've kept the format, and that was a big question of what would happen because Chicago is one of only like two markets in the country that would have a live and local guy on overnights. And there was a dude who was kind of friends with Les Grobstein who would kind of banter with him quite a bit. He's doing 3 nights a week, and then they're getting other people to sub in for the other 2 nights a week. So yeah, they were making fun of the new guy doing the nightly show because there was an episode he was doing recently where he's talking and then you kind of hear like a weird noise in the background. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go," and like they were playing this the next day, and you're like, "Wait, what do you mean he's gotta go? What is going on? Is he getting like it was like 1:30 in the morning? It's like, is he getting a pizza delivered? Like, was his his weed guy showing up?" And no, he lives in like a condo in Chicago, and security came and knocked on his door that he had a noise complaint. I guess he was talking too loud because he's doing the overnights at 1:30, and a neighbor probably could hear him through the wall.
Great friends.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, your boss is gonna have to spring for some soundproofing, otherwise
we should
to take you off the air.
We should do like a marathon, like a 24-hour live stream session for charity or something, and get donations or whatnot, and see if we can do it. Like, we have enough staff members where, like, if everyone guaranteed they would do like 5-6 hours, and we did overlap by like an hour, we could do that.
Yeah,
raise some money.
I think if we did 12 hours, that would feel like an accomplishment.
Certainly, but I mean, like, for a public eye thing, I think 24 hours is like kind of what you got to do. Like, I think of that Extra Life, charity that does like the gaming, the 24-hour gaming thing. That's kind of cool. Like,
if we did that like after the movie came out or something like that, where we had a lot of stuff to talk about, we could do that maybe.
I think Zaldron says book club will take the overnight. Okay, we'll definitely give the book club a good chunk of that 24-hour period. I mean, I think we could do that. We could do that Transformer marathon watch. That would sort of work, but you can't like show the film while you do it.
No,
I don't know how you
do
do
the audio might create problems if they could hear it in the background.
Whatever.
So, but then you're just listening to people watching a movie, which are we even going to be talking that much?
We're smart people. We'll figure it out. I mean, are we that smart? We're talking about Transformers for 24 hours. Maybe
yeah, and again, we're making fun of people who invest their money versus buying toys.
I never made fun of those people. I was actually like, hey, those are the good ones.
Yeah,
those are the real ones.
Those are the boring ones.
Well, thanks everybody for watching the Tuesday night Phil and Paul show. If we had Peter, it would be the 3P show, third party show, maybe something like that.
3P show. Yeah.
3Ps in a pod. Cast. Oh God. Okay. Well, thanks.
See, we're going on. We're like slightly over. No, we've been talking for 90 minutes, and we're already like giggling stupid to ourselves. Multiply that by 20.
Well, it helps. It doesn't help that I have to pee real bad. So.
Yeah. Well, been there.
Well, thanks for watching. If you have watched the whole episode, I'm going to leave you with the big oof. My favorite thing that's ever been invented by human beings. There he is, right there. Thanks, everybody. Book club's coming up one of these days. Zaldron will tell you. Join the Discord. That's where you do. You come. We're I think it's bit.ly/TFYLP. I can't remember anymore, but I did make a Bitly. There's something there. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.
I don't know if there's going to be a microcasters this week. I don't know if there'll be a TFYLP next Monday. We're sort of winging it, for the next week and a half.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the show. It's just people's schedules and life gets in the way. So thanks for watching. And if our schedule's a little wonky for the month of February, you'll get over it come March, right? All right.
Yeah. Mattel did not cancel us.
Yeah, Mattel will never cancel us because we will cancel Mattel.
We will.